white Bengali tigers actually do exist, and black swans actually do exist. Okay. They're not beyond the realm of implausibility, and they have been observed. So, but that's a little bit of a different realm. Now, when we get to the point of saying, if I were to assert and say God does not exist, then, that's in the same category as leprechauns don't exist, as unicorns don't exist, as in there is no teapot in orbit around Mars. Okay? The probability of that existence is so absurdly remote, and the logic behind it is so absurdly ridiculous, that it's not worth our time trying to prove that right. Alright? It's just not worth our time. Now, me personally, I try to avoid strong declarative statements of that nature just because I don't want to get into having to prove it. But I might use a statement like that as a shortcut to mean, well, it's so improbable anyway, we might as well just say it doesn't exist. Right? There's $1 billion lying under your mattress. Okay? Is there? Well, that's easy enough to prove. But what if I were to say, I can win the lottery? Because I can guess the right number. And I can do so consistently all the time. Would you believe that? Okay, you would probably say, no, Fred, you can't do that. Is the onus at that point on you to prove that statement? Is kind of a shorthand, right? I mean, the language is language. It's messy and mucky and whatnot. All right. If something is just absurd, I think, at least in informal language, in informal talk, it's perfectly okay to say, that's stupid! Yeah. The existence of leprechauns? That's stupid! Fairy godmothers? That's stupid! And God? That's stupid! Okay? That's it. And, you can believe in fairy godmothers, you can believe in God, you can believe in leprechauns, you can believe in Santa Claus. Tooth fairy. All you like. Just believe. That's all you need, right? And I'm going to affirmatively state that tooth fairies don't exist. The leprechauns don't exist. And that, the Christian notion of God does not exist. All right? And I make no apologies for it because they're all patently absurd. And I don't have to prove that statement. Because they're most likely to be true anyway, to 99.99999, however many places you want to carry out the 9. Okay? Those statements are very likely to be correct, and, I don't have to prove them. I'm not going to bother. I mean, technically, it's incorrect for me to say that without proof, but you know what? Is anybody going to expend the resources to try to prove that leprechauns don't exist? Is it even worth the effort? Fairy godmothers? Are we going to spend trillions of dollars trying to prove that fairy godmothers don't exist? It's just a ridiculous notion to think that they do. Just like it's a ridiculous notion to think that God exists. Okay? People want to believe those things because it gives them some sort of comfort. It's a fantasy. We all love fantasies. We all love stories. We eat those stories up alive. Okay, but the difference between being a little child and being a mature adult is knowing the difference between fantasy and reality. And apparently, Mr. Ministry Man doesn't get it. That's all I have to say. Thank you for listening.